Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this July 11th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. We're on the EOA network, and here in just a bit we're going to have Steve West from Steve's Outdoor Adventures. He lives right here in LeGrand, and he's going to join us on the set. So,
Sweet.
How are you?
It's first Friday.
Yeah.
And
it's a hot one.
So that means in 2 days we're 2 weeks away from Shrine.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yep.
Did you see that? Did you see there was a fatality up on Meacham this morning, eastbound?
No, I hadn't.
Yeah. I just caught it when I was looking through the news.
There was some fire trucks and stuff running around yesterday afternoon, but I didn't know what was.
10 people have died in Portland from the heat wave too. Well, heat
Right.
related deaths. That's
Yeah.
crazy, man. Like, it was hot yesterday though.
Yeah.
It was hot. I mean, I like the heat, but I don't like sweating. Like, I don't like sitting and sweating. I don't mind sweating if I'm doing something, but if the sweat starts coming from just sitting,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I saw on social media a couple days ago, somebody was wearing a Tiger King shirt, so I had to bust out my old Tiger King shirt. Carol did it.
I
Carol
don't know
Baskin.
who Tiger King is.
It was a show on Netflix about
Oh,
this.
I did. Okay, yeah, I did. But
and he always said that she killed her husband. So
Right.
Johnny got me this shirt of like.
Does it say Carol?
It says
did
Carol
it?
did it, yeah. So I had to bust it out. I had to dig for this one. I didn't know where it was at. But I saw a popular TikToker wearing a Tiger King shirt, so I was like, man, I need to bust out my Tiger King shirt. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all righty. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Rip right into sports.
All right,
Let's do it. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Discover quality furniture and mattresses for every room and support a local Eastern Oregon business. Visit Northwest Furniture and Mattress today. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm, off Adams in LeGrand. Union County Major Softball team are state champions. That's so awesome. I mean, this doesn't happen too often. So they're down 6-0 in the 5th inning. They score 7 between the bottom of the 5th and the bottom of the 6th and win in walk-off fashion against Bend North. It was so awesome. Here's a little clip of the wild ending. I love how innocent like 12-year-old softball is. If you looked in that clip, even the coaches didn't know for sure if they had won or not. You know what I mean? And like when you're talking like serious like baseball, serious softball, I mean the coaches would have, all the players would have like known, but the innocence of that like age is it's so awesome. I love it. Up next for these girls is the regionals in San Bernardino, California. July 20th through the 26th. That's pretty awesome. They get to go down there, and if they win this tournament, Little League World Series is next. So in the very first game of that tournament, they play the winner of Idaho and Wyoming, and we'll see. I mean, obviously, Oregon got a bye in the first round, so they don't play till game 4. How exciting. Like I said, if they win this tournament, they get to go to the Little League World Series. They need your help. If you or your business would like to sponsor the players or donate to help the families get to San Bernardino, please reach out to the coaches, Kristen Farley, Danielle Young, and Ryan Hunt, or the Union County Little League Board of Directors. Message them on Facebook. All you have to do is just search Union County Little League, and they'll get you hooked up. The pictures and video are courtesy of Gib Pollard, and then also a big thanks to Commissioner Scarfo. He sent me the video too. I don't know where he got it, but I used Gibbs just because I know, you know what I mean? I could give credit to Gibbs. Yeah. So big thank you to those guys. Good luck, girls. Let's go win the Western region. 6 local girls hit the road last night for a 30-hour train ride to Fargo, North Dakota to wrestle for Team Oregon in the 2024 U.S. Marine Corps Junior and 16U National Championships. How exciting is that? That's from July 12th through the 20th. You can follow Carly Radke, Paige Allen, Kirsten Azure, Riley Lees, Maddie Armstrong, and the first and only state champion in LeGrand High School history, Lindy Isaacson, on track wrestling for this tournament. It's going to be super exciting. Thank you to Serena Radke for the photos. I stole them off your Facebook page, just so you know. And let's go, girls. Bring home some hardware. Real quick, Shrine, we still have advertising available. Message us on Facebook, Instagram, or office@EOA Live TV is the email address if you want some more information. The final thing for the sports report is the Cade's Courage. Going to keep popping up that QR code. It'll bring you to the GoFundMe account for the McKinley family. Cade is a sophomore 3-sport athlete at LeGrand and was recently diagnosed with a form of Ewing sarcoma cancer, and the family needs your help. If you have the means, help them out. If you don't like GoFundMe, there's a bank account set up at US Bank right here in LeGrand under the family's name or Cade's Courage, and you can donate right there. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. They want to make you comfortable in your own home.
Good stuff, man. So we're going to skip right from weather. Steve's got to be out of here in just a little bit, and so how are you, man?
I'm good. You know, it's a busy day. Yeah, good morning, Dozzy. Yeah, it seems like there's always a lot going on in the summer.
Yeah, and yep, it does in the sports world, like EOU and the high school and all of that. That's kind of slowed down, but man, it's kind of cool that those girls are doing so well. And
yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's nice to see local kids and athletes performing on a national level. I mean, I remember watching the Little League team when they went to regionals and were pitching and playing. I mean, just the games were exciting to watch. I was watching our local boys on ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, that was cool.
Yeah. And then those kids ended up being state champions in high school too.
Yeah.
Like in baseball.
Should have been twice, I think.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Well, and they missed a year because of COVID too.
Yeah.
They really did. I mean, they lost in the state championship one year against Hidden Valley, and then the next year they beat Hidden Valley in the state championship. And the COVID year, which was like Parker Robinson's senior year, they would have probably ran the table. So they should have been 3 times in a row, I think. But, who knows? COVID put a damper on a lot of things, as you know.
Yeah. Well, and the sports thing doesn't just stop. There's getting ready. Like we've been talking about Imbler and their track project, and I mean, that's obviously where I'm going next. Is I've got that conference call with that company that does the surfacing of the track, and so that's gonna. I mean, it's exciting to see the valley. So many good things happening in the valley.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's back up just a little bit.
Sure.
So people that might not know you, so you grew up in Milton Freewater.
Yeah, the Walla Walla Valley.
Yeah, Walla Walla Valley, and then you ended up here, and I'm just kind of shortening your story. Ended up here in the Grand Ronde Valley. And you did guiding for a while, guiding hunting trips. And, and then that turned into doing how many seasons of Steve's Outdoor Adventure now?
Well, so the first animal, we evolved from being, let's say, just a guide and outfitter to the booking agency.
Right, okay.
Which we now operate more on a global level. Like we have trips all over the world, clientele from all over the world. And then to promote that, we launched a television series 23 years ago. And 23 years of producing Steve's Outdoor Adventures and the Adventure Series. We've been on the Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, Amazon Prime, Carbon TV, other platforms. We even put up a lot of the old episodes on YouTube. You've got some of them on the Roku channel. I like putting the episodes out there into digital life, after their satellite and cable run. So.
Yeah, and so, but all this time, I mean, right here in LeGrand, and that's super cool. A lot of people, I mean, I ran into, there's a guy here in town who works remotely, and he edits The Bachelor from up on N Street. I mean,
really?
Yeah. So it's just so funny how there's there's lots of people that are in the industry that you might not even know because they want to live in a beautiful place. Yeah.
And maybe live a low key lifestyle. I mean, I'm not out there like every
Right.
day. I ran into a guy the other day that said, "Are you?" I was like, "I've been told I look like him, you know."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me. And he's like, "Do you live here?" "Yeah." "How long?" "I don't know, 20 plus years."
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just kind of live a little bit of a low key life here in La Grande, Oregon. It's a beautiful place. We've got the ranch up on Mount Emily and the offices out in the business park, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great place to call home.
So, and I know that you love to give back. I know that, I mean, you've done hunts for kids that have disabilities and
Terminal ill.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, kind of the Make-A-Wish thing for kids, only not through Make-A-Wish. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
We have 2 kids coming this year and a disabled wounded veteran, double amputee.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, and all so, but now, how did you get? So Embler is building a track. How did you get pulled into that project?
Well, I'm really good friends with Kager Brasseth,
Right.
Mountain West
Right,
Moving, and Tim Phelps, Bretto Manufacturing, and so one day I got a call from both of them
Yeah.
individually, so I knew the ambush was coming. And they said, "Look, we're trying to do something here in Embler. Will you meet with us? We need to make a 2 to 3 minute video to submit to all of these grant applications so that we can show these grant foundations what Embler is all about and what we've been doing." And for anybody that doesn't know, Embler, like for me personally, Embler was this little town in the valley that was an afterthought. I drove through it and I'd slow down on the north side of town because there's always a state trooper out there that had the speed trap. And I would maybe stop once in a while to get that world-class pepperoni stick at
Right, yeah.
at the market. Other than that, I didn't
Free
know-
ice.
Yeah,
free
free
ice at
ice,
the
yeah.
market too on the way to not anymore, but
Yeah,
back
it
in
used
the
to be,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't give any thoughts to Embler,
Right.
And so they had me come out there and I looked at the track and it's just a dirt track with like gravel on it, and I see these kids running on it, and you go back and you do a little bit of looking and you realize they've got this incredible sports history, with really poor facilities, minus the football field has grass that is unbelievably good. Yeah, of course it's a grass seed capital of the world as far as I'm concerned. So they should have great grass
They
on
should
the
have
field.
grass tiled in.
Yeah, but so then Kager and Tim and a bunch of the other guys came to my office, sat down, we talked it out, and I said, "Okay, I'll work with my guys, my media team, and we'll build you guys a video." And so we made the videos, a short one and a longer form one, but the whole time I was out there in Embler, getting to know these kids and these parents and the community in general, I saw a much larger story that needed to be told. And that story really was about the community. And so I started pitching the larger networks on like a mini docuseries, 4 or 5 episodes following this track team and their quest to build a new track, put in a track facility with, the field event stuff like the long jump pit and the shot put area and the discus area and but also have an 8-lane regulation track so that someday they can host things. Also get lights. I don't know how many people out there don't know this. They don't have lights. They play their football games at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoons in the heat.
Right.
I mean, how many parents are still at work on Friday that can't come watch their kids play? The bugs were miserable out there when I would go watch a game. I thought, man, these guys need lights. And so it's happening. They changed their football schedule to 7 o'clock night games now. It's so, to me, it's super exciting.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so the grants have been flowing in. I don't know how much they have left to raise, but it's not much. I mean, if they can raise another $300,000 or so, the track project was like $1.2 million. I think they were getting pretty close, like $800,000 raised. Embler, little school. It's inspirational for everybody. Anyway, so now we're in post-production on 4 or what could be 5 episodes of following the track team this past season, and it's really exciting to me that we're going to get to produce that. And we can run it to Amazon Prime's platform if we want to, but we're going to submit it to ESPN Digital, Fox Sports 1's Digital. We're going to try and put it on a national platform and make America fall in love with Embler, the community in Union County, the way that we did.
Yeah. That is awesome.
So Yeah, I mean, I've been producing television on a national scale, like nationally syndicated program for a long time. But this is really, honestly, maybe something that's bigger than anything I've ever done before. So it's fun.
Well, and so clearly along the way, you discovered a different story than just a school that needs a track, right? Yeah, there's people, there's coaches,
Well, and you got these understories, like underlying stories are what really drives a program, as you know. You know, like when we got to, there's a great athlete out there. His name's Trevor Treat. Okay, last year Trevor Treat goes into state, wins the 100-meter, hurdles or 110 hurdles, state champ. But he's favored to win the 300, but he falls twice and doesn't even qualify for the championship heat or the final heat last year.
Okay.
Boys lose the state championship by a few points. If he just qualifies, they're probably state champs last year. Mm-hmm. Go into that this year, obviously he's got a different mentality. Yeah. Not only does he win the 110 hurdles, but he wins the 300 hurdles by like that much.
Wow.
Yeah, and carries, not just him, but the team itself, the boys win the championship. All right, another underlying story. The whole time that's happening, the girls are competing for a state championship too.
Right.
I mean, keep in mind, these kids don't run on a real track, except for on Tuesdays when they go to Eastern Oregon University and run on their track.
Right.
So anyway, they're in it. They're winning it. Their number one event as a team is the 4x100 hurdles. Or not hurdles, but 4x100 relay. Final handoff goes wrong. They lose.
Oh.
They DQ.
Wow.
They lose by, 4, 6 points, something like that. If they just finish second in that race, the girls are state champs too.
Right.
But most of that girls' team's coming back next year.
Wow.
It makes me want to film season 2 because there's a story here,
Right,
but you meet the girls and and I didn't know any of these kids, right?
Right.
Got to know the Brasseth girls, incredible athletes. By the way, for sports junkies, watch the 7th grade. Should be 8th graders next year. I mean, her name's Piper. Piper's faster than her sisters.
Right.
And they're junior, and they're going to be a junior and senior. So it's really exciting to get to know all these kids, the parents, just an exceptional community. We filmed graduation.
Yeah.
22 kids in the class, 22 graduate. I don't know what the average GPA was. It's 3.5 or something or higher.
Yeah.
All 22 kids got some scholarship. All 22 have a chance to go to college. 22 for 22.
Yeah.
There's something exceptional in the water out there. But I also believe it's the parents, the foundation that they have built in that community to make those kids successful. And those are the kids who are going to come back with the next generation and the next generation. And I think that is just a trend in Embler, and I hope they keep that going. I hope they don't let outside influences in, because I see a big difference between, let's say, a community like Embler or maybe going to the city.
Yeah.
Like if you were to go to Beaverton and meet similar kids, I'm not saying there's no good kids there,
right,
but you certainly don't go 100% graduation rate with rates like that. And I don't know, I just see exceptional kids. And there's something else that I've noticed. There's a lot of spirituality in the Embler community. Like right. Really, it's it caught me off guard because you're not used to seeing that.
Yeah, no, they have deep faith.
Very deep, very deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-race prayers with the girls' relay teams, all that. I mean, I saw they actually talked openly about it.
Yeah.
So.
So I'm kind of interested to know. So you've been doing hunting TV for so long.
Sure.
And I know this. I did a line edit for one of your archery clients one time. Yeah. And I remember then I just got the footage and I tried to get a hold of somebody like, well, what's the story here? And it's like, you just put together a story, don't, because
well, it's chronological.
Well, but sometimes you get the animal on the first day.
Yeah.
But you've got to go film hunting.
Yeah.
So that even though you've already got the animal, you've got to do
You have to fill 22 minutes and 30 seconds of content somewhere. Right, yeah. Now we flash back to like the past. Like, let's say I went on a hunt in New Mexico for elk and I killed a nice bull the first morning. Right. Well, you can't make a full half-hour television show out of that, right? So you have to say, okay, look at these other places we've been and other things that we've done. And so, it's definitely something where we have to get creative. We have to roll with it as it goes.
But where I'm going is Embler Track TV. That's a whole different animal because it's real. It's like you know.
Well, I wanted to tackle documentary stuff,
Right,
right?
right, yeah.
And I did that once before.
Right.
We produced a documentary after the 2016 election because America was getting so divided. And it's something that really disappoints me about America is how divided we've become. Like, we all hate each other for some reason. And it's just, we shouldn't have that division. But I wanted to make a documentary that showed everybody how divided we were.
Right.
So we produced it. It's called A Nation Divided. It was on an Amazon Prime platform. It's interesting. We didn't roll the dice in either direction. We didn't go right. We didn't go left. We just said, this is it, right down the middle. And I was so disappointed because people would not even watch the film, the whole thing. They would just look at the cover art that had like Ted Nugent and like Senator Smith from Oregon, and
Harry Reid.
Harry Reid
Yeah,
was on the
yeah.
cover. Yeah, we got. I mean, we're one of the few people who ever got to interview Harry Reid that was independent.
Right.
And and anyway, we really rolled it down the middle. We didn't favor anything, and there were both sides. There were complaints sent to Amazon Prime. This is just another right-wing video. This is another left-wing video. And Amazon got so many complaints on it that they actually pulled down. We're getting ready to put it back up on other platforms because we feel there's an important message in this film that, hey, we shouldn't be right and left. We should all be just Americans.
Yeah.
We shouldn't hate somebody because they vote for or support a candidate or a way of life or a political view.
Yeah.
So it's definitely it was definitely, that was my first run at like what I would call like documentary style filmmaking. But the Track Project is the ultimate documentary. There's no script.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that is super. I mean, we do a lot of interview style production videos for things. I mean, we just got done doing one for MedQuest camps locally. They just celebrated their 30th anniversary, and we did 7 interviews, and you kind of weave it together, and that's a lot of fun. But man, it's a lot of work. I can't imagine, putting together. I mean, this ended up being 8 or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
But putting together a 30-minute piece or something or whatever it might be, that's a lot of weaving together.
When we do it right,
Yeah.
we're done in 10 days per episode.
Yeah.
From the time we get back, we go to the line edit process, which
Yeah.
is usually 5 days. Once the line edit's done, generally 7 or 8, 9 editing hours, I'm ready for a first preview.
Yeah.
By the end of 10 work days, it's at the network ready for closed captioning.
But the storytelling,
Oh yeah.
that's really happens at the line editing
Oh yeah.
level. Yeah, that's somebody who's like weaving it all together to make a story.
Your line editor has got to have a storytelling capability
Yeah.
in reality television.
Yeah.
It's not scripted.
As somebody for who knows what line editing is, you're just really taking blocks of video and putting it together to tell a story. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
like
refined. It's not.
No,
yeah.
the line edit basically goes through hours of footage
Right.
and finds the best parts that tell the story, the most important clips that tell the story. You lay them in the timeline. You don't color correct them. You don't do anything. You just get them in place and shorten them up, and then get it so that they actually make sense as a story.
Yeah.
Figure out where the breaks are at for the commercials.
Yeah.
Where does the segments hit, and then when you're done laying those in a half-hour show, you have 4 segments, 3 breaks, and at the end of those 4 breaks, you better have wrapped the show up at the end because there's no more segments to have.
Yeah.
But we take all that and then crunch it down, finish it up. Got a great finish editor, Shane Schmidt. He's fantastic.
Yep. He is.
He's been with me about 20 years. Yeah.
He's amazing. Yep.
So we've done some stuff on Deadline at Network where I know he's drank about 4 pots of coffee at night, and within 12 hours it's at the network, and it's pretty impressive when he crushes on that.
Well, yeah, and again, I mean, he works out at his home still in Hermiston.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, we intersect all the time
Yeah.
and stuff, and he's a.
He also does the new DIY series that we've been producing too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Build It Better DIY. It's actually a YouTube channel, and we go to different project sites. Like we did a driveway for a guy that works with me where he had a big slope, and we built it up and leveled it, and it's called a Build It Better DIY, sponsored by Barretto, and it's on a YouTube channel, and it's all of a sudden just in the last like week and a half it's starting to go viral. So. But Shane finish edits all of those too. So that poor guy, I just shovel the edits on top of him. We line edit everything here, pass the projects to him, he finishes them and uploads them. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, very cool. So I mean, so what's next out there for you? What are you thinking about?
I'll go to Arizona in a couple of weeks. My brother Mike and I grew up together, but we didn't hunt together. He had different interests when we were younger. I obviously went one way in life. He went another. He's probably got one of the largest barbecue retail businesses in the United States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called Barbecue Island out of Chandler, Arizona. Well, we have Arizona elk tags for the last week of July to go hunt the velvet bulls down in the top trophy units.
Wow.
So we're going to go down and look for some velvet bulls. We're going to film that. But for us to elk hunt together for the first time ever, we're in our 50s now.
That's crazy.
And we're finally going to go elk hunting together. And then in August, my brother John and I are going to go to Alaska and we're going to film a fishing show up there. And we take my brother up and go do a little fishing. He and I have gone to Alaska fishing a couple times now. So I enjoy that, being able to get out with my brothers and do some stuff. But yeah, those are the next two trips up on the plate for me right now.
Now, are you slowing down a little bit? Not spending as much time out?
I'm not on the road as much, but I'm not slowing down as much. Like
Right.
Travis Price from our office, he goes on some of the hunts now every year. Wesley White's going to host the majority of the fishing show episodes. And he's going to be our fishing consultant. He's going to become the Travis Price for the fishing side of things for us. And for me, I mean, with the ammunition company and with everything else going, I mean, I don't slow down at all. In fact, I'm probably working more now than I ever have, which is disappointing. But hopefully I can see a little light at the end of the tunnel here where I can maybe slow down in the future as I get more key employees put in the right places and I can maybe enjoy it and smell the roses a little bit. So.
Yeah. Now, you've grown over the years. How many employees do you have?
Employees and let's say some people that are independent contractors with camera operators, to about 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have an ammunition company too?
Yeah. We bought Pendleton Ammo and moved it to LeGrand about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And yeah, in fact, we built a building specifically for that next to the offices out in the business park. So we've got 3 and soon to be 4 employees out there, 4 hopefully, if things go right. But right now 3 employees out there and they do custom load development, build rifle scope ammo packages, load the ammunition, everything. I mean, the ammo company is definitely kind of a beast of its own at the moment.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I appreciate, I mean, I say this all the time, the people that invest in LeGrand and in Eastern Oregon, they choose to keep their companies here or they build their businesses here, that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something that, you and I have talked a few times over the last few months. I mean, there was the county commissioner's race, and I was very, I guess, active in watching what was happening there on a local level politically. And, we talk about like investing in our communities and our counties and stuff like that. One of the biggest problems I think that we've got is we have a lack of people who are getting involved, not just, let's say, in the youth in the community or things like that, but I think we have a problem with people not getting registered to vote, voting, actually participating. 41% of registered voters bothered to cast a ballot in the midterm election, right? That was disappointing. That could have been a game changer for some candidates, that were on the ballot. And when you think about only half of the people in Union County are actually registered to vote, there's a whole nother story to be told there. We probably need to get more active individually, regardless of what your political views are.
Right.
Everyone who's capable should be voting, and a lot of people died for us to have that right and that privilege to vote and determine the futures of our communities. And I would love to see more people get involved, not just once again in community things, but also get involved like as a registered voter and vote and participate.
Well, and I think the beauty of LeGrand, Eastern Oregon, is the divide is not important here. I mean, the right to left issues that happened at the local level, there are none. There are I'll put it this way. Somebody expressed it. There are no platform planks either on the Democrat or the Republican side that make any difference in local politics. Period.
No, but I mean, I guess one thing that we should look at there is we really do live in a community that's pretty heavily skewed to one side.
Of course, yeah. But the point is that
the division isn't there.
And it doesn't. It is there, but it doesn't need to be there. I mean, it's just and that was super disappointing for me, as a candidate is that why do we have the needless division? And even me saying, why do we need the needless division, skewed me, oh, you're an independent. I mean, you know, so that's irritating.
I think really, if people actually sat down and thought about their views, their political views, I think 80% of us would find that we should be registered as independent voters.
Right. Yeah.
Because very few people 100% side with Republican or Democrat. I think the vast majority of us are very centrist individuals, and we shouldn't be boxed into you're either a Republican or a Democrat.
Right.
We're Americans. We're citizens of the world, as a friend of mine likes to tell me, and we should not have to be boxed into, if you're an independent, you can't vote in a primary. Oh, to hell with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be completely able to be independent thinking, but the Republican and Democratic parties do not want that.
Yeah.
That costs them a lot of money.
Yeah.
In fact, I got asked the other day on a show what I would tell someone who didn't want to vote for Biden or Trump. And let's face it, in America today, we should be ashamed that these are the only two candidates we can put up out of, 400 million Americans?
Right.
400 million Americans, and we come up with these two guys?
Right.
There's far better and brighter candidates out there that should be up there, but the media, not necessarily Brent Clapp Media Services, but the media makes a lot of money off of division. They make a lot of money off of the show, the act, everything. And the Democratic and Republican parties, they make just as much money. There is no money in peace, love, harmony, and they've got to have drama and action. They've got to have Trump in a courtroom. They've got to have a mindless Joe Biden. They've got to have all that for everybody to make money.
Right.
And it's coming down to the American dollar. So what I would tell anybody, if you don't want to vote for one of those two, vote for an independent ticket. And I'm asked why, because they're not going to win.
Right.
Because if an independent candidate for president gets 15% of the popular vote, that party qualifies for equal campaign finance in the next election.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Could you imagine 3 political parties in America? Now, the Democrats and Republicans will hate that. How many days did it take the Republican Party to hijack the Tea Party when it became popular?
Yeah.
What, like an hour? They snapped it up like that.
Right.
Why? Because they couldn't allow someone to draw their voter base away
Right.
or their money base away. So, vote independent. If you don't want to vote for one of those two candidates, vote independent, because it might be a vote for a better future 10, 20 years from now when a third party actually becomes viable.
Yeah. Well, and a third party would that would change the game, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got to turn you loose. You got to get out of here. You got to get a call. So appreciate you being here.
No problem. Glad I could be here. Call anytime.
Yeah. And it's just like, you just never have very much to share. So it's like, yeah.
Well, and one thing, it is going to be hot this week. Everybody stay hydrated, stay healthy.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean don't go outside. Get that vitamin D. Godsy. I know you're going to sweat it up out there, but man, get you some water, go outside.
Golf right now. I got a bad shoulder.
Yeah. All righty.
Well, you guys take care. Have a great day.
Yep.
Thank you. We'll be right back with weather and the rest of the show right after this. All righty, we're back. That was it's like drinking from a fire hose.
I mean, I could have told you there was going to be politics involved
Yeah.
somehow. Like it's almost guaranteed, right?
Yeah, it's all right
Gotta
though.
Get a little political jams in.
Yep, that's all right. Well, hey, let's take a look at the weather. Outside, it's hot. Looks like there's like a spider web that's like,
Yeah, there's something
over the top of that.
of the
Yeah,
camera.
there are cameras It's funny. There are cameras that have like little wipers. Yeah, this we couldn't afford that camera, so this it's just up there. But and then let's look at the graphic.
Oof.
So 94 today. That's a little less than it was yesterday.
98 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oof.
So it's still. You think you can tell the difference between 94 and 98?
I think so. I think so. Probably.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, 94 is somewhat bearable.
Yeah.
98, that's getting right there where it's like
Well, and
not comfortable.
And yesterday the wind was blowing a little bit. You know, I mean, it was just hot. It just felt like a blast furnace. It just like, you know.
I mean, it wasn't. Once you get in air conditioning, it's not bad, right? Yeah. And a little bit of time out there, but like not a lot of time. I feel bad for people that don't have AC.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how.
We didn't have it growing up. We had a swamp cooler. Right?
I know, we
Swamp
did.
coolers don't operate real well in really hot.
No, that was our whole life. Yeah, I mean, that was the. But when we were really thankful for the swamp cooler, you know.
Right.
But it's so funny because, you know, I mean, I don't know, back in the 40s and 50s, whatever it was, maybe before, I don't know when swamp coolers kicked in, but, you know, I mean, the heat was just something they dealt with. Whatever it was. Yeah.
I think one of the things when we were talking about Embler earlier, one of the things that people forget too, and not to take anything away from Embler, but that there's quite a nice percentage of kids that don't live in Embler that go to Embler.
Right.
That live in LeGrand, that are from right here where we are.
Right.
Because of open enrollment and because of the fact that Embler is a charter school, you get like compared to like when I was a kid, there wasn't a lot of kids that lived in LeGrand that went to Embler because there wasn't open enrollment and
Right.
it was just different back then. But I don't know the exact number, but I would imagine that there's probably 25% of the kids out there don't live in Embler. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have graduating classes of as big as they do now back then.
No, and I don't know if it's a charter school. Is
It
it?
is a charter school,
I know
100%.
Cove is.
Embler is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Embler has kids travel out there to go there just because that's a good school.
Yeah, because they have good numbers. Yeah.
I mean, they've you know,
14 to 1 student to teacher ratio is pretty good too.
Right. No, that's helpful. You know, Doug Hislop was the principal out there for 10 years, and I mean, one of the things he touted is that he didn't have any senior dropouts in the 10 years that he was there. You know, but when you have 20,
kids.
when you
That's
have
a little
20,
different than having 200
right? When you have 20, when you have 20 graduates, you know, the principal can look over your shoulder and
all the time.
get you keep you in line. You know, so
There is definitely an advantage to a smaller school.
yeah.
But there's also disadvantages too.
Sure,
That-
yeah.
that you're looking at less exposure when it comes to athletics.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, it's just, but it kind of falls. Embler's like the top of like smaller schools. Like
Yeah.
if you want to go to a smaller school, Embler's where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's there's good people out there, you know, and that's part of it. When you have a good school normally means that there's teachers and administration that they're doing they're not doing it for the paycheck. They're doing it because they care about the kids.
Right.
They care about what it is that they're doing, and that makes a huge difference. Not to say, I mean, there are lots of people in our education system that are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bud Force says, "Suck it up, boys. I'm one without AC. Live on Mill Creek and always a cool breeze at night." No AC, Bud? That's... And then Alicia Anderson Dula says, "I've looked up to this dude since I started hunting. She wants Steve to take her hunting."
Awesome.
Yeah, interesting. I forgot to ask him if he knew Mighty Joe White,
Oh.
the dude that we met the other day from Mossy Oak. If he'd ever heard of him.
Oh yes,
forgot to-
yeah.
I
I was
forgot
gonna.
all about
I
it.
was gonna bring that up, but I didn't.
I completely forgot.
I just I knew there was a lot to talk about anyhow.
Yeah, I just forgot. I had it on my mind before, and then phew, it's gone.
It seems like I mean, one of my first video clients with Brent Clapp Media Services was Steve.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of his videographers and shot with him, not in the field, but we made a little studio for him, and that's kind of when he wasn't getting started, but anyhow, he was he was at the point where he was trying to buy his own equipment and start doing some of his own production. Yeah, so anyhow.
Now that's like the field, when he started, it wasn't, but now that field is just flooded with people. There's so many people making, like there's YouTube creators. It's very popular to make outdoor videos.
Well, and part of that is just technology.
Yeah,
The price of technology. Yeah, because it
a
used
GoPro and a phone.
Right. It used to be that you could only do TV. Cameras were $50,000 at the least, and and to edit whatever it was, that was another $50,000. I mean, we're talking, that was a lot of money then, and so the threshold now. Yeah, now you can shoot it with
Couple $100.
You can shoot it with a GoPro and edit it on your laptop.
I follow this guy, Pig Patrol. Pig Patrol. He's a fisherman. And Pig Patrol. Talking about like pigs, like big fish,
Yeah.
And he all he uses is GoPros in his phone, and I mean he has a nice camera that he takes out and takes pictures of the fish with.
Right.
But that's all he uses it for.
Right.
And he has. I mean, he does very well, like very well.
Yeah.
And he just goes to spillways and lakes and does some ice fishing, and he's got his little. They have like a thing that you have to follow to be like a good YouTube creator.
Yeah.
You have to have a moniker. You have to have a catchphrase. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's all these boxes that you have to check off, and he checks them all. I mean, He does good with it. It's crazy, and he probably doesn't have more than $1,000 worth of equipment altogether.
See, and I've never had a desire to have a YouTube channel and promote myself doing something.
Me neither.
I care locally, but I've just never had this desire to Never thought that I had something so awesome that people from around the nation would watch.
It doesn't even have to be that awesome nowadays.
No, it doesn't.
You just have to be consistent.
Right.
The biggest thing is people want they want consistency. It's not just in YouTube world either.
Right.
It's just across the board for human beings. If you're consistent, it pays off like that. Then they talk about it all the time. You just need to post videos every day, and they need to be, they need to fall into these certain categories. Whether it be like he has like 4 or 5 different types of videos that he does.
Yeah,
he'll do explanation videos. He'll do videos of him fishing. And then he'll do underwater videos with the GoPro underwater, looking at the fish. You know what I mean? So he has and he just checks these boxes. And I'm sure there's a system where if you worked hard enough, anybody could probably become decently well known on YouTube. I think.
Yeah. Well, there's a flood of people out there. I mean, man, the number of people every day that are trying to do it is kind of funny because. I mean, we people, you probably know out there that everything that we do here ends up as a podcast on Spotify. But we started all this before the podcast rave was really a thing, and it's just funny to me that's now, I mean, it's everywhere. People is like, let's start a podcast. Let's do a thing. I don't know. Tell you what's really interesting to me is the patience of people. People will, if we do a reel or do something like that, it's got to be 10, 15, 30 seconds is a long time.
Yeah, they ain't watching it for 30 seconds.
Right. But at the same time, people will listen to a podcast. Joe Rogan will go 3 hours in length,
In their car.
Right.
I don't know anybody that just listens to podcasts at home.
Right.
I mean, I don't personally. There probably are some people, but
yeah.
But I mean, pretty much everybody watches podcasts now. They don't just listen to them like
Well, but
you're watching the video along with it.
right, but the advantage, I mean, I was listening to Mike Rowe this morning, but the advantage of listening is that you can
Yeah, you
get
can
up
be
and
moving,
get going,
doing things.
and
Yeah.
you know. So anyhow, just interesting. Well, you want to get us out of here?
Let's do it. On this day, July 11th, 7/11 today, 1656, the first Quakers to land in America in Boston, Englishwoman Anne Austen and Mary Fisher, are arrested and jailed by the Puritan colonial government. After 5 years of imprisonment, they're deported back to Barbados. 1798 on this day is the U.S. Marine Corps formally established as a distinct military branch by an act of Congress and signed by President John Adams. That's why you hear everybody always arguing the Marine Corps has 2 birthdays, right? So you have November 10th, 1775, which is the one they celebrate, and then you have this, which is the actual birthday of the Devil Dogs, like July 11th, 1798.
Okay.
1863, the U.S. military holds the first draft lottery in New York City. You can pay $300 to be exempt. $300 in 1863.
Man,
was
that's a
ton
lot of money.
Yeah, only the really wealthy people could throw $300 and say, I'm not going in the military. 1984, government in the United States orders airbags or seatbelts required in cars by 1989. 1989. I never wore a seatbelt as a kid. Mom smoking cigarettes in the car, you know what I mean? Like nowadays, if you see somebody smoking in a car with a kid in it, people will flip out, right? And here's me and Kenny in the back seat crawling all over, you know, ashes coming off the cigarette into the back seat. Unheard of. 1990 on this day, New York City police arrest Dart Man, Jerome Wright. The crazy thing about this, he was charged with darting 53 different women in New York in 1990. He shot him in the butt with a homemade dart gun made out of a straw and needles with paper on them. But the crazy thing about this is during the same time, they're looking for the Zodiac Killer, 1990, in New York City. And they put New York City police females undercover to catch this guy with the Zodiac Killer out there. And that's how they caught him.
They were looking. That's how they caught the Zodiac.
No,
Killer?
that's how they caught the Dart Man. Like he darted a New York City cop, female that was undercover, and they caught him. But I mean, the Zodiac Killer's running around. Yeah. You know who else was famous for like darting people? The guy in the 70s, Summer of Sam.
Son of Sam.
Son of Sam. Yeah. He darted people too. Like it's a weird. Like I don't understand, but 2018 on this day, the oldest stone tools outside of Africa are found in Western China. They are estimated to be 2.12 million years old and made by hominids. 2.1 million years. That's a long time. 2022 on this day, NASA and U.S. President Joe Biden revealed the first image from the James Webb Space Telescope. It's a cluster of galaxies called SMACS 0723, 4 billion light years away. And these pictures are as they appeared 13 billion years ago. That's not, when you think about that,
I know. It's like, yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
On this day, the #1 movie in America in 2004, Spider-Man 2. And then the quote of the day, and I think I've done this one before, but I love it, comes from Eleanor Roosevelt. Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. One more time. Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people.
All right.
That's it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eastern Oregon.
See you Tuesday.
Yeah, right here.